I've been the only Black in many rooms my whole life. And I had to be grateful to be invited to those rooms.
What was so amazing was to see you get over the fear of COVID and get out and march with Mike and Noelle and your daughters. What was that experience like, and why did you decide to break the lockdown?
Right. Well, we were really, careful and conscious, COVID conscious, pretty much the whole time. But when everything happened with George Floyd, it was just really depressing and hard to just stay in the house and just watch all this on the news. I felt like we really needed to, I felt like it was worth us going out there to support this cause. And it was like, for me, I felt like we didn't have a choice. We had been stuck in the house forever, and if we were going to go, that was the time to go.
Yeah. So look, you are no stranger to headlines, to magazine covers, honey. We've had a Vogue, we've had a Glamour, we've had an Elle, we've had a Vanity Fair, we've had two. we have been in the pages of very many a magazine. When we talk about diversity and inclusion in fashion, where do you think we stand right now in 2020?
We got a lot of work to do in 2020. I started in the industry when I was 18 years old. I'm 53 years old now. It was a very different world back then. And, it was very common to go to try to get with different agencies back then. And they would just pretty much tell you, sorry, we already have 2 Black girls. And I would always wonder.
They felt easy.
They felt very comfortable saying, sorry, we already have a Black girl. And literally they would have at the most maybe 2 or 3. And it would be like, again, hundreds of white models. And so, that was always, the fashion industry has always been racist in terms of that. You know what I'm saying? It was just really understood silent racism that nobody really talked about.
Wow. I have a question. I wonder, when you talk to the Beverly Johnsons, when you talk to Tyra back in the day, were they feeling as frustrated as you were being on the front lines, trying to kick those doors down?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, I can't speak for them, but, I've worked with Beverly, and Tyra and I definitely worked together. And, they were the first to even, break down those doors for the few Black people to come through those doors that did go through. So it's a tricky spot when you're the first. If you're on the cover of Vogue, but they don't let anybody else Black on there for years and years and years, it puts you in a situation where it's like, okay, well, I got through the door. You want to bring other people through, but we're just so happy somebody got through.
It seems like this generation is having an easier time asking for inclusion, asking for diversity, demanding that we see more colored models on the runway.
Yeah.
How hard was it back then to speak out? And what would happen if you were the model who spoke out?
Oh, well, it was very hard because you didn't really have any real support. We didn't really have a group of Black people that was in the industry that would stand together and say, hey, we want this. We want more inclusion and, all these different things when it comes to the fashion industry. And so when you don't have the support, you're just out there by yourself asking for these things. It's very difficult, to get anything accomplished because, no one's going to listen just to Cynthia Bailey, but they'll listen to Cynthia and Tyra and Naomi and, all these other people. They'll listen to all of us together. I grew up in Alabama, so I've always kind of been around racism to some degree. And I've been the only Black in many rooms my whole life. And I had to be grateful to be invited to those rooms and not really push, but, rock the boat too much and say, hey, I'm in here, but I got 30 other, my Black sisters I'm trying to get in here. It's kind of like, let me get in here first, fill it out, and we'll slowly bring 1 or 2 of y'all in. You're in the same room.
I know how it goes. I know that, and I will say this, 50% of it is that's how the culture is. And 50% of it is that's what we have been told as children, that when you get in a room, you walk in with your head down, don't make any noise, and be grateful that you were allowed in this room because 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we weren't here.
Right. We can't even be in the room. So now that we're finally, there's 1 or 2 of us in the room, we do have a certain responsibility to try to make change, but it's hard to do it by yourself. Like, two people can't change that much. You know what I mean? So this is what's so amazing. Okay, this is what's so amazing about what's happening now. People are just coming together on, just for the sake of righteousness, whatever's just right in this world at this point. And it's such an amazing time, and I feel so blessed to be alive to see all this change that's happening, where the whole world, not just the United States, the whole world is coming together.
No, 100%. And I've said this time and again, the reason why it's working right now is because it's not only Black people saying we need to change things and this is happening in America. It's white people. It's people of other nationalities that are coming out and standing with us. And I thank them all the time that, yeah, Martin Luther did it, but he did it with a very few allies and
right.
Black people. But in 2020, with social media, with everything going on, you should be able to speak up and help and bring awareness, even if you're not Black, even if you don't have a platform.
Exactly. That's right. It's true. It's a different time. It's a different time. And I'm excited to use my Blackness and just everything that I have that I can put out into the world to help, uplift our race and just people, because I just think everybody deserves a fair shot. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you're not qualified for a job, you're not qualified for the job, but it shouldn't be because of your skin color.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's just level the playing field and just let everybody, go for it and try to be great. Like, it's so hard to, as much success as I've had in my life, I've always had to feel lucky and blessed to be the first Black to get a Seagram's partnership or whatever it is I'm doing. Like, everything I've done, everything that I've accomplished, it's always been under that, like, well, you're on a Black show. It's so great that you are able to be on television, as a Black woman. You know what I mean? Like, we have to be grateful for everything that we have when, non-white people, the sky's the limit. For us, any little, chicken wing we get, we got to be like, oh my God, thank you. We got to treat it like a turkey, because we're just so happy to have the opportunity to do anything. Like,
100. And it's so funny because, like, whenever I look at, and not funny, I now understand what the Bailey Agency is and why it is what it is, because you had to deal with being one of 2 or one of 3 Black women on a board of 100. And now you get to open this agency up and show people that Black is beautiful. And it's not just going to be 3. It's going to be the 300, diverse sizes and shapes. What's it like knowing that you are making people's dreams come true and opening doors for people because they were slammed in their face?
It's incredible. It's the one great thing that came out of me, having a successful modeling career for all these years, to be able to create a platform for people that I don't have to discriminate against, and can open up my doors to anybody that wants to learn about the industry, about the business, and to inspire them and to motivate them. And if it's not modeling that they are going to be great at, then, I can, also introduce them to acting and what that looks like. It's just always been such a white industry. And I think, I'm grateful to have had, to at least have a small platform such as the Bailey Agency School of Fashion to at least, change some people's lives. And we have quite a few success stories. And I can honestly say, had those kids not come to me, I don't think they would have ever gotten in the industry, because they probably would have had the door shut in their face. To be honest, they would have never been given the opportunity to even get any kind of real career off the ground, to even get any proper training.
As a mother of someone in the LGBTQ community, how does it make you feel that people are having a hard time accepting and bringing forth light that people of trans identity are being killed and no one is paying attention to them?
You know what? It's heartbreaking, honestly. Noelle came out last year, I think, maybe about a year and a half ago. And honestly, of all the things that I've shown on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, that probably was one of my proudest moments, because I knew that if it took what it took for my child to come out and talk about being gay openly, I can't imagine all the other kids out there that felt afraid to talk to their parents about it. And I knew that, I know for a fact that parents that watch that episode felt very comfortable having those conversations with their kids that were fluid or gay or whatever, however they define themselves, after watching Noelle and I just talk about it and me accept it. Like, I really feel like at the end of the day, we have to get to a place where really all lives really have to matter. Gay, whatever. And even though Noelle got a lot of support and love from that episode, she got a lot of hate as well, which really broke my heart, because she had people trolling her. She actually had to get off social media for a little bit because people were trolling her, saying, "You're going to hell," like bashing her. And she wasn't ready. She didn't know how to deal with that. And I didn't know how to help her with that, other than, tell her to just don't worry about it. It's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking, and it's just not right. And that's something that definitely has to change. The world just has to do better. And I think we have hit, the one thing that COVID did was it set everybody down. It set everybody in the world down, and God got everybody's attention.
You can no longer use the words, "I had no idea."
I didn't know it was like that. Like, even us talking to our kids about police brutality. All our kids drive. Every time they drive off somewhere, we have to explain to them how to be pulled over by a police officer, because, different generation. They're going to ask questions. "Excuse me, why are you pulling me over? What did I do?" Whatever. Me, I'm just literally going to just put my hands up. I don't even want to even have a conversation with a police officer. I just want to be safe. I was kind of raised to, you don't ask questions. You don't give them any kind of resistance. But our kids, they're not from that school. They want to know why you pulled them over, and they want to film you. They don't want to get out the car. And you can easily, as we know too well, that could be a matter of life and death, just having that.
Because, I'm a pop off. I'm the type to be like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Looking at, and I'm going to be honest, I'm looking at George Floyd sit there and be so pleading for his life and scared. I can see myself
absolutely
not only sitting there scared out of my mind, but trying my hardest to fight back to save my own life, not calm, because I know I was taught the police, this is what happens to Black men when you're one-on-one with a police officer. This could happen to you. This is real life. And my gay ass would be like, what? I would pop up. So,
for sure. For sure. And honestly, as a parent, this was the first time after I saw that I was really grateful. And my heart really goes out to anyone with Black sons. I was so glad we have Black daughters. And even then, it could happen to them. But I don't think I would get any sleep if I had a Black son out here driving around, going anywhere. I think I would be worried to death, all the time, honestly. It really, truly, is a blessing that, that's at least, I look at our kids, I'm like, oh my God, thank God they're not Black boys, because that just takes a little bit of the pressure off. Not that some of the same, things can happen to them, but I just feel like it's a higher percentage if it's a Black boy. And that really breaks my heart to these moms out there that's raising these young little Black boys. And what is that conversation like? How do they prepare them to go out into the streets and the world? And it's they, even just to go, they could get pulled over going to church and something could pop off. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I want to take this moment really quickly, because I know you talked about people being rude in Noelle's comments. Mm-hmm. There are people in these comments that are saying things that are ignorant, that are gay bashing, that are racist. I want to thank those people, because what they don't realize is when you say hateful things and you hateful comments, it gives other people the courage to stand up in solidarity for people like myself, for Noelle, for Cynthia.
Right.
So thank you for activating people's activism with your nasty, rude comments.
I agree. I deal with it all the time as a reality star. And you know what it is? It's unfortunately, it's necessary to have hate to bring out love.
Thank you.
It's just necessary. So along with Justin, I thank all the haters. Please keep on hating if that's what you want to do, because so if you want to be a hater and be dark and hateful, you sit right over there and keep trolling and get your trolling life. And if you troll too hard on my line, I'm on Bravo line today, but if you come on the Cynthia Bailey 10 line, you will get blocked because it is a no hate zone. Mm-hmm. Are you kidding me? With everything that's going on in the world, like anyone that even has the audacity it's like, get the hell out of here.
And that's the thing. And I don't think there's one of two things. One, maybe you are just a racist and it's, you live a very dark and terrible life. I get that. And I like, you know what? If that's your thing, you're going to have to answer to somebody at the end of your days. And it ain't, I'm going to let him deal with that. Hey. And the other thing is, if you are upset by us saying Black Lives Matter or all Black Lives Matter, that means that you are feeling defensive and that you feel guilty about something, so you have to get on the defense.
Absolutely.
Not us pointing a finger at anybody. This is us speaking up and asking for your help, because now is the time that we can really change the world.
That we have a voice now. Our voice is finally being heard. And be clear, we're not saying other lives don't matter. We're just saying Black lives matter too. That's it. Like, nobody's saying that.
$100%. And by the way, we're trying to save the black rhino in Africa. So if we're trying to save that endangered with 59 cents a month that I'm giving to a black rhino up in Africa, right. Save this endangered species here. Black men are being hunted on a daily basis.
Exactly.
Because we have a camera crew with everybody having cell phones.
Right, exactly. And you know what really makes me crazy? Can you imagine, Justin, like, if we see all the craziness and the hurt that's going on in the world that's being filmed on cameras, what the hell is happening in the world, especially in terms of like what's happening with police brutality? What if we don't get to see when somebody doesn't have a camera handy? God only knows what's happening when it's not being filmed, because when I tell you, when that police officer was this is the coldest, most evil thing I think I've ever sat and watched.
Thank you. That is exactly what we are talking about. And I will say, not all cops are bad cops. Just no. All black people are bad people, just like not all protesters are looters. But I'll be damned if I'm going to watch my friend, co-worker, kneel on somebody's neck for 8 minutes.
Exactly.
That's where the issue comes into it.
That's the issue, because here's, at the end of the day, the read is,
Cynthia, you know what? We're going to leave it at that.
We're going to leave it right there.
Right there. And you know what? We continue this conversation. I want to say thank you for joining us. We truly appreciate it. And, I'm going to catch you on the flip side. I'm going to call you after all this is done.
Oh, no, for sure. And I appreciate you doing this, Justin. I've seen you out there on the front line. You have been protesting your butt off here in Los Angeles. And I commend everything that you're doing. I applaud you, my brother. We are in an industry together where, we're still making strides. And, again, it's always been that mentality for years. We should just be grateful to be here. And yes. That's just got to change, because at the end of the day, if we're willing to work hard and be qualified to be here, then we should be here regardless of what the color of our skin is.